T-minus 50 seconds. T-minus 45 seconds.
Second stage LH2 secure flight level.
Launch enable. GE, main power off.
Off.
T-minus 30 seconds.
Green board.
T-minus 25 seconds.
Flight lock in.
SRM TVC blowdown.
T-minus 15 seconds.
This is Delta Mission Control at T-minus 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3. Main engine ignition. 0 and liftoff of the United Launch Alliance Delta IV rocket carrying the NROL-27 mission for the National Reconnaissance Office. And you're hearing the voice of Steve Agate providing launch vehicle
15 seconds into the flight. Now passing 20 seconds. Altitude now approaching 1 nautical mile. Recovering nicely from the initial launch transients. Chamber pressures starting to their decline and the both solids as expected. As we're approaching 40 seconds. Mark, 40 seconds in. Approaching 47 seconds. Mark, 47 seconds. Mach 1. Vehicle now going transonic. Chamber pressures continuing to hold. 1 minute, 1 second into the flight. Max Q, maximum dynamic pressure in the vehicle. Coming up 1 minute, 10 seconds. Mark, 1 minute, 10 seconds. Altitude now 8.5 nautical miles. Velocity 3,088 feet per second. Downrange distance 5 nautical miles. About 10 seconds now until we expect to have burnout of our 2 solid rocket motors. Standing by. And we have burnout, and we have separation. Separation on both solid rocket boosters. 1 minute, 47 seconds into the flight. Still looking good. 1 minute, 56 seconds in. The Delta IV rocket only weighs 1/2 of what it did at launch, now burning 1,850 pounds of propellant per second. Now passing 2 minutes, 5 seconds in. Altitude 24.9 nautical miles, velocity 6,040 feet per second, downrange distance 33 nautical miles.
This is Delta Mission Control at L plus 2 minutes, 20 seconds into the flight. And you just heard Steve Agate confirm jettison of the strap-on solid rocket motors. The mission is continuing as expected. Our next event is the main engine cutoff, or MECO event, which will take place in about 2 minutes.
225 feet per second, downrange distance 63 nautical miles. Very good engine control in the first stage. Now passing 3 minutes, 8 seconds into the flight, velocity approaching Mach 10. Three minutes, 22 seconds, the calculated time of the maximum payload fairing skin temperature. Less than 1 minute remaining in first stage flight. We expect the partial thrust command in the first stage in about 15 seconds. Standing by for partial thrust, and we have partial thrust command. Chamber pressure beginning to drop. Standing by for MECO. We have MECO standing by for stage sep, and we have stage separation. NEDS is deploying. Nozzle is extending. Standing by for igniter spark. And we have igniter spark standing by for ignition, and we have ignition. Ignition on the second stage. Second stage chamber pressure is beginning to rise. Good chamber pressure on the second stage. Standing by for fairing sep. And we have fairing sep.
This is Delta Mission Control at a mission elapsed time of 4 minutes 57 seconds into the mission. And as you just heard Steve Agate announce, we had our main engine cutoff event that occurred as expected, followed very shortly after by the following mark events: first stage separation, and then the second stage ignition, and then payload fairing jettison. So each of the mark events in this early phase of flight occurring as expected. So we've just seen the successful liftoff of the NROL-27 mission for the National Reconnaissance Office. Again, the vehicle is performing as expected as it continues downrange, now with a first burn of the upper stage. Liftoff occurred at 6:38 p.m. Eastern Time, delayed due to the upper level winds. However, we were able to successfully put together the flight profile to be able to continue with launch here today. I'd like to thank Steve Agate for his support of today's launch broadcast. And at the request of our customer, this will now conclude today's coverage of this Delta IV NROL-27 mission. For more information about this Delta IV, please visit our website at www.ulalaunch.com. And on behalf of the entire launch team, I'm Don Spencer. Thank you for joining us. Have a great evening. And we'll leave you with one final look at liftoff. 4, 3, main engine ignition, 0.